I'm so glad you're here. This is a replay of a live training I did inside the OTs for Pelvic Health Facebook group with Lindsey Vestal, and I wanted to make sure that everyone gets access to it. Pelvic health is such an incredibly fulfilling specialty, and it's growing so much. I've been training OT since 2018, and my goal is to have over 10,000 OTs trained by the year 2030. I'm so glad you're here learning about this specialty. I hope that you can join us in the OTs for Pelvic Health Facebook group with me, Lindsey Vestal. I will link to the group below in the show notes and description. Thank you so much.
Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do.
Yes. Welcome everyone for kind of a funny, pretty much out of the box OT Empower Hour, where we are in the mood to celebrate. Put it in the chat if you're feeling it too, because you guys, I innately believe that this is a watershed moment for our profession. We are celebrating the fact that count them, 3 votes were passed last night that show major support from our national organization, the AOTA. So let me share what those three are, and then I'm going to introduce my guests, and I want you to party with us. So if you're joining us, put it in the comments. Give me your best and most favorite emoji. Here are the 3 things that passed last night. Number 1 was the societal statement on reproductive health. Number 2, a position statement on the role of OTPs in pelvic health, and it's happening dramatically sooner than we expected. And the third thing that passed was a task force to establish model competencies in reproductive and pelvic health. For something like this to pass, for something of this magnitude to pass, it is no doubt an incredible accumulation of so much work behind the scenes right here in this community. And it's like this snowball. There have been so many incredible people involved along the way, so many brave acts. So many brave acts. So we are so grateful for every single one of you who have had so much to do with this moment. Today, we have just two of our incredibly brave advocates for our profession right here. I am joined by the amazing Rocky and the incredible Karlyn, who have both worked tirelessly behind the scenes for over a year at least. Thank you, ladies, for being here.
So happy to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Karlyn, I want to start with you. My question is, can you break down for us, what do these votes actually mean for us?
I sure can. And I think, the overwhelming takeaway is exactly what you started with, that we are being supported by our national association because all of the members, because of the momentum that has been generated and how vocal and loud and proud we all are about this incredible work. All of this would not be happening if they weren't recognizing this movement, and it's really, I'm finding myself speechless, like since yesterday and today, like I've got this glued on smile. It's really powerful to just know that our voices have been heard. And so it's a big, big deal. So the motions that were passed, Lindsey described them well. The societal statement about reproductive health is a huge deal. Rocky will speak about her role in all of this, but the post-Dobbs task force, that's what they set forth as one of the needed recommendations. So we're supported around that. The position statement on pelvic health, that's a kind of a twofold. It was addressed twice last night, and I'm just going to briefly touch upon that. A motion, basically one of the recommendations out of the post-Dobbs task force was to have a position statement related to pelvic health, and the RA recognized that. Separately, a group of us set forth our own motion to create a position statement on pelvic health. And so the point is that the first motion was passed, motion 2, and that therefore meant they didn't need to do anything with the other motion that was brought to the table because they already addressed it in motion 2. And all of that is just kind of political process mumbo jumbo. The greater point is that the motion was passed and they will be working on putting together a pelvic health position statement. I want to note the expedited timeline for those of you that weren't involved in the conversation. It was initially projected to be proposed for 2025, and that we're not having that. We're here, it's needed now. There's so many reasons why it's needed now. So we were able to advocate for that timeline being moved up to 2024, by fall of 2024. So that's incredibly exciting. And then the model competencies piece shows that they're serious about laying the foundation, that will be a document or a process by which entities can look to say, these are the reasons, how we're showing that we are competent, qualified. It's more of a way that we can communicate to our other stakeholders and show our powerful role in this that is now supported clearly by our national association. So it's all the best news.
All the best news. And I was excited last night. I was excited when I woke up this morning, and now being here with both of you and really, I think it's really hitting me that this is happening, you guys. I mean, this really is a watershed moment for us. I think we are going to look back to this moment and just be like, this is what it all came from. Like, this just an incredible firestorm that's ahead of us. And I'm just beside myself. Thank you, Karlyn. That was a phenomenal recap and summary. Yes, beautiful. Rocky, where do we go from here? Mara's joining us and she's wondering, how can we put these things together? What do you hope to see happen next?
Well, can I just start by saying when we wrote this document, the post-ops task force report that we sent into AOTA, these things that they voted on were sort of like the stretch goals. These were not the things they would say yes to first. We were told, well, they don't really say yes to those type of things. You can put it in there, but so when these were the things that were on the list, hold on, because it encompasses these 3 things encompass all the other little things we recommended. So we had other recommendations, plenty of them. It was an 8-page document, single spaced, could have been longer, but that they kind of went with these first big ones and had overwhelming majority. It was just insane. I was just I can't believe we're sitting. So next, I don't know, man. I am so Emily, my coach, texted me right as it was over, and she's like, so are we gonna end up on more task forces? And I'm like, probably sharing them. But so I'm not sure if then it goes back to the RA and then they start creating the documents based on what they've already gotten from us, or if they create a group to write them that is a little bit more the experts of the field. So that I'm not familiar with the pathway either, because again, I just didn't really expect it to get here. So, but that was amazing. There was at one point when somebody had raised their hand about an opposition, and it was about the pelvic health statement, but her opposition was, no, I don't want it in spring of 2025. I think we need it fall of 2024. And I was like, just I was unable, my feet are just dancing, but trying to be cool.
Yeah.
But it was just, it was wild. So I think we'll find out. But they're serious about it, and honestly, they've been serious about it since that listening session where Allison was like, hold on, send me some resources. And then she followed, and it's just, I don't know. I'll ask her what's next when she comes to visit my practice in a couple weeks here. It's coming on November 27th, and we're going to hang for the day, and I'll just pick her brain a bit. She's not picking mine. So
Allison is also coming to your practice, Karlyn, right?
Not officially booked on the books yet, but we're in
Okay.
negotiations about it. So yeah, just feeling really supported by the professional association and the leadership, in a big way. Yeah.
In a big way, in a way that I don't think we've ever felt before, and it just feels so right. I'd love to know from both of you. This has been a long, ongoing process. Like I said, I wasn't underestimating it when I said there has been like tireless work behind the scenes from so many people here in our community. And I know for certain, Rocky and Karlyn, I know so much from both of you. What were some lessons that you've learned along the path, along this whole journey?
Okay, I'll jump in here. It is so important for us to be vocal and to continue the push because everything was only able to happen last night because of so much hard work that has been done for so many years prior. Being involved at the listening session the week before, where it really required a lot of digging and a lot of communication to realize like, oh, this is happening. What's the agenda? When are we going to talk? When can we talk? When, like it's not made really explicit. And so it requires time and effort to dig. But it was at that listening session last week where, I was able to say, hey, this 2025 timeline is not going to work for a variety of reasons for state and federal efforts, right? And Lindsey, you participated. We had a few other people that participated to say, yes, we need to revise that timeline. And that was so important. And Lindsey, you were able to be there representing this Facebook group and also the community of practice. And that was a big deal to say on behalf of the community of practice, right? And the fact that they have the community of practice now, they recognize, okay, the momentum, the presence, this is important to the membership. So it's like all these things needed to happen and all the work that has been put in, by Tiffany Lee and Laura Rowan and everyone involved in all of these efforts, so many others, it's a big deal. So taking advantage of those opportunities to be vocal. And I almost think it would be worth it to send, I don't know if we yet have there were only a couple people that opposed. Most of the RAs voted strong, as Rocky said, overwhelmingly voted in favor. I'm inclined to send a thank you to my RAs. So you can look on the AOTA website, find your RA's contact information. And I plan to do that to just appreciate and note their support because that matters. They want to be collaborating with their constituents. So I know that feels like a new line of conversation that's open to me. Like I'm going to have a closer contact with the RAs to be involved in the AOTA level conversations as well. So I'd recommend all of you consider that.
Yeah. And did you say that when we go onto the AOTA website, Karlyn, we can find who our representative is? And are there any form letters for something like this, or do we just kind of speak from the heart?
Yeah, I would say speak from the heart. If you are curious about what you might want to say, feel free to, send me a message on Facebook or post it in maybe OTs for Pelvic Health and I can comment on there. But yeah, at this point, it'd be a speaking from the heart as a pelvic health OT practitioner. Just share your enthusiasm for this momentum.
Perfect. I love that so much. Rocky, what about you? Any lessons learned along the way?
So funny that you were talking about this because I last year when I'm just like calling people out on social media and can't find anyone to send an email to at AOTA, I was my RA in Ohio found me on the Commune OT, and she was like, "Oh, looks like you've already gotten through to to what you needed. Just this is like I'm the one that would help you with that." And I was like, "I don't remember. I went to school a trillion ago and haven't really needed to be involved." Now, in hindsight, we should have been involved, but and especially if we're in these like hospital jobs where like you're just micromanaged at so many levels, like you just don't even think about like, let me go talk to AOTA about this thing I need. But she was one of the people who spoke in favor of one of the motions last night. So I reached out and texted her and I was like, look how far I've come since this mess of last year where I had no idea. I guess my lesson is like say yes, even if you have no idea what you're doing. Like I have no idea what OTA I didn't know what an R, like the first email they sent me was full of abbreviations I did not know. Like what's an RA? Like what's a rack? I have no idea what you guys are talking about. And then the other thing is, and slowly but surely, staffers are amazing. Like everyone I was working with in AOTA was just a phenomenal like member of the organization. And they're all volunteers. This is like insane how the thing is run volunteers. That just blows my mind. And then the other lesson I would say is like you don't have to be polished. I'm not. Like my co-chair Emily was the wonderful Pollen, and it was just like a really lovely match because I'd be like, this is this is atrocious. This is BS. And then she'd be like, let me find you an article up. And then like I'd write something and she'd be like, let me clean that up a little bit and the wordsmith that. And thank you, because that's not my area. I'm a therapist. Like I'm not a polished like like academic like I don't do journals, I don't do that stuff, but so they find you the person you need to help you in the situation. So get reached out to about joining this task force coming up. Don't be afraid. I was, but I didn't need to be. So
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing so much of that, Rocky, because it really, I think there is a sense of intimidation with these organizations. As you said, most of us haven't had much interaction or dealing with them. So thank you for being so transparent and honest about that experience and what a difference that has made. So Karlyn put in the chat, we're on Zoom going into Facebook. So I just shared the link that Karlyn shared, which is where to find your RA. All you got to do is click on that. I think there's like a drop-down menu where you put in your state and you can find the way to reach out and express your gratitude to your local representative. So I think we've touched on this next question a little bit, but if anything else comes to mind, let me know. Is there anything else that you would encourage our community to do next at this point?
I think it's really just continue involvement in the conversation. Rocky, to answer your previous, I'm still trying to figure it all out, but I do anticipate they will be reaching out to subject matter experts. They're not going to take only the information they have and try to craft something on their own. They will create another task force or a series of task force. I'm not quite sure what that will look like. So if you are interested in this conversation, just kind of continue to reach out. And I know we'll be having ongoing communication in the Facebook group about, the status of things. Plug into your RA. So if you go to that link and you have to dig a bit, but you scroll down, you go to the RA roster, and then there's a drop down where it has a list of every single state representative, and their email address is located there. So I think those are the main places, and continue doing the good work. And I mean, these are some of the similar themes that we share often, but make sure people in your community know what you're offering. Connect with your local legislators about what you're offering. Your state association. So there are state associations that are moving forward and trying to craft position statements, communicating the amazing work that's happening around this area of practice. Those are the pieces that will add to this momentum and that the National Association will look to. So again, if you have any questions about any of that or want to get more involved in that, find me, let's chat, because it's really exciting. There's a lot of possibility. So keep providing good care to people, amazing care to people, and keep publishing and communicating, sharing the great work that you're doing.
That's awesome. So Mara is joining us, and I have to give a shout out to her because she was part of a group that tried to get a statement paper, a position paper out before, and unfortunately it did not happen. And she's asking a very good question here. I'm not sure if I'll know the answer, but it's definitely worthwhile putting out there. She's wondering, can the Commission on Practice decide that these should not be written? She's not trying to be a downer. This is just what happened with the last pelvic health position paper, and she does not want it to happen again.
Thank you for that question, Mara. I don't know the logistics of if they can refuse to carry forth the motion at this point. So that's a great follow-up action item for me to investigate a little bit further. I would be really shocked, given the momentum and enthusiasm and kind of broad support of the last night's call and the meeting. That would be I'm going to choose to remain optimistic, that would be shocking to me. So let me follow up on that and see what I can find, and then I will add that into the chat. But my hope is no, that it's moving forward. So we'll see.
Yeah. She also adds that she just contacted her RA rep to offer her support, both for the measures and to help develop these documents. So I encourage anyone who has the same inclination, let's flood them with support. Let's let them know we're all here to serve them and to help this initiative go forward. Rocky, Karlyn, so grateful for not only just jumping on today and joining me for this call, but for all of the work that you guys have been doing behind the scenes and are continuing to do to shine the light for all of us on the future of OTs and pelvic health.
Thank you so much, Lindsey. Thank you for the opportunity
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, like to celebrate in community, with everyone today. So feel the energy as we leave this call and move forward throughout the day. Like, this is an awesome.
Here come bad news, talking this and that.
Keep celebrating.